Because this is a quickie. This is a Rage Pod. I'm here with Ebar.
I'm here with Tara Erickson, and we've had a lot of technical difficulties today.
This is your companion pod. We're aiming for a tight 25 of us just jamming and talking.
A tight 25. It might be a tight 2. We don't know. We don't know where we're gonna land.
We really don't.
And honestly, at this point in my life, nothing feels tight, Tara. Nothing at all.
That's the fucking hard part, dude. Gravity.
It's
gravity.
It's brutal. And then the other hard part, which I think you'll be able to relate to, is then you're also like putting pressure on yourself to be like, I should just fucking embrace it and like love getting older and love aging and like find, like if you're just beautiful and you love life and you take it all in, like that's what's really going to matter. And then it's going to, shine through in your external radiance. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I feel that way. And then sometimes I feel like the underside of a tortoise.
I got to talk about Love Overboard real quick because we wanted to chat about this.
Do it.
I was watching Love Overboard, but the biggest thing was this guy named Keith. He's a police officer from Nebraska. And we find out towards the end of the show, he matches up with this girl and things are going well, okay. Nice guy, gentleman. But she's a chemist. She says, so how would you feel about me like working? And he goes, well, I want my women. Totally. And I found it crazy that she even had to ask because I was like, honey, you're a fucking chemist. What the fuck? And he goes, well, I want my woman, to be a stay-at-home mom to take care of our kids. I know. And then I'm like you, Ebar. She asked him again later. They have a good date. And I'm like, how do you just let that slide? You're a freaking chemist. You're saying in your other things that you're like, she says to him, she's like, well, I really love work, So like, that's just the thing about me. And he goes, yeah. That's just, I really
love work. I'm ready to set my passions on fire. Just light them away.
Right.
Light them on fire. Watch them fly away.
I couldn't believe it. And then finally she brings it up again and is like, yeah, this is not way later, basically saying this is not going to work because, so you definitely, there's no leeway there that like, because I want to work, I wouldn't want to be at home all the time. And he goes, no, I think a woman should be at the house and be raising our kids. And I was like, that's what I want to what I know. Isn't it angering? And to me, I brought this up to you where I said, there are so many men who are like that guy, Keith, even now today that say that. Meanwhile, they have never babysat a day in their life or handled a child. And now I'm like, you don't even know if you're going to like having a child, but it doesn't matter because someone else.
But you want 10
full-time job. They just
you want 10 that you don't carry, that you don't get postpartum from, that you don't get your body back from, that you don't get your freedom back from, that you do because you fucking leave most of the day. And even when you're home, whatever, on the weekends, you're still not doing it. So, I
golf with his buddies. Like, I think it's insane that now today in 2026 that he was not clocking. There was no leeway. He was like, no, I think a woman's place. I want my wife to be a stay-at-home mom. I need her to raise our kids.
It's so weird because like, I don't even remember growing up with like that extreme of a patriarchal sexist point of view being in my immediate environment. Like I know that it was there, but it was at least a little covert. Everything is just like out in the open now. Like it's really gross. Like everyone's like bigotry and sexism and racism. It was always in parts out of, but like it seems like everywhere. It's just everyone has stripped off all of their what's the fucking word? Figurative clothes. Yeah, they're filters. And they're running around naked with their shitty thoughts out for everyone to take in.
That's exactly what it's like today. And I just think it's why I'm glad they broke up. But I was like, I liked Keith until I was like, oh, I do not like Keith. He does not.
I didn't like Keith. Is his name Keith?
Yeah,
With a
not
fucking
Keith.
F at the end?
Yeah, it is.
No,
it's a I know it's Vanity.
No, we're not. So it's like Kiefer Sutherland's nickname, which I don't even know if that's his nickname.
I know, right? And this guy.
Oh my god, I hated Keith from the get-go. You know what's so funny? So I met a woman in the park who, I don't know, she's got a grandchild that plays there, and she grew up in LA, and her husband, who I was unclear if alive or not, but also grew up in LA. Like they met a long time.
I love it.
And like his parents' house was like right there. Then they ended up moving into his parents' house. But the short of it is that I find out he was a cop. I know that he's no longer a cop. I don't know if he's a dead cop or if he's still like just alive and retired at an old age. But anyway, he's some sort of cop. She was like, I was peace and freedom. He was a cop. Crazy, right? Like, I was like, yeah, how did that work? Like,
yeah.
And she just said, he was really tall and handsome. And so I just kind of looked past it. We just didn't talk about, I was like, oh, well, I guess maybe back then it wasn't so polarized. Exactly. And she's like, oh no, it was. And I was like, well, there are some cops with like not crazy conservative views that like are, she's like, no, he absolutely, I was like, I don't know how you do that. How did you do that? And she just kept talking about like how tall he was. I was like, how do you tall doesn't get you through like losing your parents and like having a midlife crisis and like
and having children that you
like
have
wanting
to raise.
Jam your head into the oven. Tall doesn't do that. Tall does not. Also, tall does not make you laugh.
It doesn't, but tall
doesn't like. What did you guys fucking talk about at the dinner table? Like you just talked about like height,
how tall he was.
What did you talk about? Tall things? You talked about tall things. You talked about all the things that you were able to see at your eye level because you were so tall. Like when I go to the zoo, I don't have to look up as much to see the fucking giraffes. Like what the fuck? I was
gonna say, like, don't you feel like women do that all the time? But I think it's wild. Me and you, I'm like, you could laugh me into bed. I don't care how attractive you are. If we can't have a conversation, you are so unattractive to me. Like I can't stand it. But I still see today, because I watch too much reality, that people are still just so after the exterior. And they kind of don't care if the other person isn't funny or can't hold a conversation. And that somehow, I guess, the exterior gets them through because they're just like, they're so hot. I don't get it.
Well, number one, they're at the beginning stages of a relationship. Two, these are probably people that haven't questioned anything about like where their philosophy comes from or where they tap into their attraction to somebody, right? Like they're not thinking like, hey, oh, this was influenced by a patriarchal structure when they're like, oh, he's hot in those board shorts. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I unfortunately, I think there's a lot of women that just go through their life and either they do think about it and suppress it, or they don't think about it. They just sort of accept and don't understand maybe at times when they feel sad or small. Why? A lot of times in those relationships, when a guy does not recognize the woman as an equal partner, because that's part of it. Like, if that's not happening, then there's going to be times when you feel that power dynamic, when you feel that sense of not being respected equally, and you're going to feel small. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel, and then angry at times. You're going to feel unrecognized. And undervalued. Like going through life feeling undervalued is horrible. And I'm not saying that you have plenty of other opportunities to feel undervalued in the world, but to have that in like what's a primary relationship in your life day in, day out, that's really fucking hard.
would suck. And I was going to say, like, do you think that, which I think men are a little more like this, but I'm thinking that women can be like it too, where their weird ass payoff is like, oh, because I can walk into this restaurant and like my husband's hot, period. And everything else doesn't matter. And I know that there's people like that exist. And I think it's wild. How are you going to live the rest of your life with just that? How does that even, they feed off of it? Because they're like, well, I pulled in this hottie, right? So now everyone's looking at me like, oh, how did I do this thing? And I'm like, doesn't that last for 5 minutes? No, apparently there's people, it lasts them their whole life. And I think that's insane.
I don't know if it does, though. We don't know about in the quiet moments that you don't see them, right? We don't hear about the times when they're crying in their bed or they're crying in the shower, or like even just those like simple times where they just took something in that, again, made them feel like less of a person. And that like sort of quiet internal rage or quiet internal deep sadness. Like right. We just don't, we don't get, you just get to see like a little snippet. So, and that's the problem, right? When you like look at someone, we talked about this in relationship rage too. When you look at someone and you're looking at like the resume of who they are, you're not thinking like, oh, is that resume going to comfort me 10 years in when life is a lot more complicated? I maybe feel a lot less attractive. We have new people to take care of. Someone lost their job and now we need to like scramble to adjust our life, whatever. Somebody gets sick. Like they're not, when you're looking at that, you're not thinking that. And it also kind of hits back to thinking of the whole equation of how much that is going to make you happy. Like how much of a relationship is making you happy and how much of it is making you sad? Like, what does that like sort of percentage breakdown look like? Are the moments that you go to a restaurant or to a party, like on the scale of all of your time that you're going through life, like what percentage is that? I don't think it's a pretty large percentage.
Right. And,
right.
And you know what? I totally agree. And like, I have some friends where I kind of see them and I go, I don't know if this percentage is as high as it was before. And I think that people are really good at ignoring just ignoring it because it's been years. So they're just like, we just got to take it one day at a time and just sort of like just do it. And I guess
I think like, you also have to do work.
Some people don't. I feel like they don't because
they don't work. Yeah. And you know what then that's just stuffing it down.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. I think that they're they want to ignore it because it's too much to face and it's going to take maybe too much work to get there. But that's a relationship.
Yeah. You know what you just described? You just described MAGA voters. It's too much. It's too much work to realize that we got into a relationship with a narcissistic sociopath that did everything the opposite of what they promised us. But here we are. I can't say anything. I mean, this is, oh God, I just got to keep taking the abuse. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. So I deserve it because I voted for him. This is my fault.
That's what it is. Because they all even you've seen this stuff on the streets where they're like, here, you want to read an Epstein file? And it's like a real file. And they're like, no, get that out of my face. I don't read any of that. I don't want to hear about any of it. And they're like, well, what if it's true? It's in the news. And they're like, no, I don't involve myself with it. Because they're in denial.
So, you know, they're in denial. So, you know, my obsession, like your laws of attraction, what you just said, Love Overboard, like this podcast is that for me. The mom, so the son, this is the necessary conversation. And on Wednesdays, they have a midweek episode and it's usually just the son and his mom. And they both bring clips to play. Like, I'm bringing you a clip on this side and he literally played, which I hadn't even heard, the full, I guess it was, maybe it wasn't the Access Hollywood tapes, but it was an extended conversation of Trump talking about, you know, basically going after a married woman and like kind of forcing her into having sex with him. I mean, it was very close to just outright saying like, oh, I can just go have sex with whoever I want because I'll just force them to, right? Like, and it's so gross. And you're like, how is she, what is she gonna say? How is she gonna rationalize this away? And she got really mad. She was mad that she's like, why are you throwing this in my face? Why are you bringing this up now? This happened. This was before. This happened a long time ago. And he was like, well, I could say the same thing. You constantly bring up Biden and Obama, and we're well past that. So like, how is that the argument? And then he basically was like, so you're okay with a man like this being president? And she was like, I don't think that, you know, it doesn't mean he can't be a good president. I like what he's doing. Like, it was amazing how you could see that she did not have a good answer. Like, she didn't have a good answer. And she just got, like, it was like turning a little bit into a child of like, well, I don't want it. I don't like it. I like my president, and I want to keep my pony, and don't take away my pony. I know that my pony, you know, has eaten all of the other farm animals. It has rabies and might actually give me rabies, but I love my pony and I stand by my pony.
These people are ignoring evidence because they just want to stay in their little box, which is the same for me when you look at a mom who's ignoring the abuse of her child via her fucking weird husband.
Yeah.
Right? Do you like? I'm telling you, it's that fucking bad. It's basically, it's like, no, that's terrible. Like, what you are,
totally,
is an awful, awful thing. And now I'm going, yeah, right. Put the meme up, because now I don't even think it's too harsh, because I'm going, you have the evidence, you are seeing it, and like, you're just choosing to go, none of that really matters. I'm like, yeah, I have the words. It makes me mouth.
It's petulance. Like, it is petulance. Like, I want to keep this thing. This is the reality I would like to live in. You are holding up a different reality. I choose not to be in that. I mean, literally, this woman, her daughter met Trump when her and her friends, when they were on I want to say it was a college trip to somewhere, like they went to Trump Tower for something when they were really young. And she said he was really gross to them and like was not appropriate with them. It was just in an elevator. So luckily, like, only so much could happen, but she full on told her mom. So it's like, it's almost a direct example of what you're saying. He is publicly inappropriate. He has been as the president. He was before, like, he's never not, like, he cannot help himself. And you know what? Why would he change? He has not suffered anything for it. Not anything.
Zero freaking.
He suffered zero. So for somebody like that, why would they change their behavior? Like, he just recently said, you know, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but she's a beautiful woman. And I love
to the news lady.
Yeah, way to completely diminish and remove all qualifications that this woman has as a national correspondent by reducing her down to being a beautiful woman. And luckily, she still has a modicum of value, even in her ripe old age of being in her 40s.
Yep.
Because she looks good.
Right. Because that's what the world is freaking measured upon. And, you know, it's really unfortunate that the leader of the free world dives into that, hits it even harder. And what everyone that's trying to go after self-love, positivity, have like a better world is trying to spread that doesn't really matter, and we care about you as a person. Like, do you know what I mean? But like, there's people that are at the top that just heavy-handedly put the pressure upon the value of your exterior.
Well, and that's why you have people on your ding dong shows that are like oh, I would prefer the woman of the house to stay in the house. Because everywhere you look, there's a reinforcement that is the restoration of where America should be. We need to restore back to these good old days when women only maybe spoke like a couple of times a week. And I agree. They didn't ask to use the car except to go buy the groceries.
And the other guy, this is going to piss you off. In his thing, he goes, well, normally I would go after so-and-so plastic. I like plastics, like fake. He's saying plastics. He's like, I like fake boobs, fake butt, like whatever. Normally that's what I'm attracted to. But I don't know, like you can't really, I'm in a different state in my life, and like you can't breastfeed with fake tits, right? Like I don't think you. I swear to God, Ebar, this is in his pickup with
this guy's gay. I think he might be gay.
He's I don't think he's like the worst person, and he's like I don't think so, right? And he's like, so I'm going after her because she was really interested in me, and the producer's like, yes, you went after like all natural, and he's like, yeah, because I'm in a different place. Like I'm 25, and like I eventually want kids. I wanted to die.
Well, you're also watching 25-year-olds. I mean, that's like not even a thing. Like they're 25.
I know, but
and it's a dude.
I know, but like, what are you talking about? Like what? I can't stand that right now. What you're doing is you're going to waste this girl's time, beautiful girl, because you're like, I think maybe she could breastfeed kids 10 years down the road better than the other girl that I'm actually attracted to. I think they're all insane.
Okay, you're giving me a really good idea, though.
Tell me.
There needs to be like a show like this, and like basically combine like couples therapy intervention and these shows. That's a show I would watch. If there was a show where like these dating setups, and it was all about like therapists that come in the middle, and honestly, whatever, the guys can get I don't care about that, because what really, like what I'm hearing from this is what makes me sad is why does she think that that's where her worth lies?
Right.
So let's come in and like we just say, okay, change it up. We're the crazy producers. You never know what you're going to get. And we brought in 10 therapists. So all those dudes that you thought you were matching with, forget about them. Now we're going to match you with a therapist.
I'm about to burst your freaking bubble, and you're going to be watching my dummy shows because Too Hot to Handle does that.
They do? How? What do they do?
Too Hot to Handle is they're on there. They match up a bunch of hot people, and then they have to go through group therapy sessions where they now have to talk about their feelings, where they have to say, okay, well then why were you leading her on, or why did you kiss her and kiss that other girl? And now you're just wanting to match up with Samantha, right? And all these girls are crying, whatever. They do like separate with just the guys, and the guys have to like open up, and like there's been a few times where they're like,
do they do it with the girls?
They do. So they do separate with the guys and then separate with the girls, and then they do it eventually all together. But they also do one-on-one with some guys who are they're really like they got kicked off. They kept trying to sleep with people. They just weren't getting it, because Too Hot to Handle is like, you can't kiss, you can't touch, you're not supposed to juice. If you do, you get money taken away from the pot that you could eventually win. But throughout this experience,
so it's chastity through financial gain.
Exactly.
Right? By the threat of financial gain. Chastity. Okay.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. But
see, if I was a therapist, I would say to them right away, I'd go, why are you on the show? Let's start there. Why are you on the show?
I think they might have actually asked that. I'm not kidding. Some of them get really deep, and they're like, so why do you feel like you're not worthy? Why do you feel like you need that? Like they get pretty deep, And some of them end up crying and be like, well, this is why I've done this to all these women, is because I don't feel well and my dad treated me this way. Like sometimes there's like some big stuff like that. And
some big epiphany.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I would be like, is this really about like furthering your career? And if they said yes, be like, totally get it. Now let's talk strategy.
Yeah, I love that. So you're the therapist turned into producer, which was your initial pitch anyway.
Which is my, but if it was like to find love, I'd be like, all right, let's talk about this.
Let's talk about how we can do it.
Be like, I've taken a look at the male contestants. None of them are good enough for you. Let's just figure this out.
Let's get you on another show. Ben is getting really aggressive with the pots and pans in there, so we need to get off because it's so loud.
It's not even pots and pans. It's like garbage bags.
He is not liking that you're doing the podcast at this time, so we need to get off. This is a passive-aggressive way of putting in a garbage can liner.
See how I am like this kept woman that doesn't like, that's not let out of the house to do what she wants, like unsupported and repressed. This is a perfect example. Just sabotage. Kept woman.
That's why you come here to Rage Pod to see this. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the right things. Help us out on Patreon. Do the right stuff.
Woo!
All right, I'm going to end this. Let's get out of here.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hopefully this works.
Are you pissed off? Do you have something you want to rage about? Call us on the hotline and tell us all about it at 213-293-5995. You can leave us a voicemail, send us a text, or shoot us an email at theragepod@gmail.com.